The teacher was moved. Marie Curie was one of the most famous female scientists in the world from Polish. She had won the Nobel Prize twice, and she was respectfully called the Radium's mother. Amid her excellent achievements and the infinite admiration of the world, she first thought of her French teacher in her youth, Mrs. Orban, because Marie, from the bottom of her heart, understood that she wouldn't have achieved such greatness without the careful and strict education from the teacher. One day, Mrs. Orban received a letter whose signed by Marie Curie. Orban couldn't believe her eyes and thought the postman must have made a mistake because Marie Curie at this time had become a reputable scientist. How would such a great scientist write a letter to an old, poor, obscure, rural teacher? Orban waved her hands and said to the postman, "Sir, you must be wrong about this. The letter from such a great scientist is not for me." She did not open the envelope with trembling hands until the postman was quite sure about the recipient was correct. Orban thought it was unreal. She put on her reading glasses tremblingly and then carefully read the letter. Tears welled up in her eyes, and it turned out that the letter was from the little girl who was top of the class in all subjects 20 years ago in her class. Marie showed her deep respect to Orban in the letter. Marie wrote in the letter that she had been doing scientific research in France and genially invited Orban to visit Paris. Thoughtful Marie also had sent the round-trip expenses with the letter. Reading the letter, Orban was sitting on her chair with tears blurring her eyes. The image of the lovely and diligent little Marie emerged in her sight. Orban muttered, "I couldn't believe such a great scientist was my student." Shortly after, they met each other. Marie Curie welcomed Mrs. Orban at home. Marie cooked a meal for them. After the meal, they sat together and had a heart-to-heart conversation. She made the teacher forget all restraint. The teacher forgot that she was in front of a Nobel Prize winner. Warsaw Radium Institute was established in May 1932. As the sponsor, Marie had gladly accepted the invitation from her home country, taking part in the ceremony in Warsaw. On that day, many famous people from all over the world, including kings and queens, government officials, scientists, and Marie's family and friends, flocked around Marie Curie. When the opening ceremony was about to begin, Marie, regardless of the crowd, suddenly walked quickly down from the rostrum, carrying flowers through the crowd, and came to an elderly woman in a wheelchair. Marie kissed the elderly lady affectionately and gently pushed the wheelchair towards the rostrum. Marie introduced the old lady, Mrs. Orban. At the moment, all the audience looked at the teacher and student with admiration, and all stood up and applauded enthusiastically. The 80-year-old lady's face was covered with tears of excitement and happiness. She had never imagined that her student would become a world-famous scientist, and Sue loved and respected her. A world-famous scientist was so grateful to her teacher. How about us? We should take what kind of actions to repay our teachers who endured all kinds of hardship to educate us?